Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Today we are looking at the brand new Cook Politico map for 2026 to U.S. House elections, and it showed some very important developments for 2026. According to the article from Cook Political Report, I can't read it on the video because it's behind a paywall, so I don't have the whole article. But the article said that there were 5 changes on the House seats that favored the Democrats, 1 overall that favored the Republicans. I do believe among them, Pennsylvania 8 with Rob Bresnahan was one of them. I think Pennsylvania 7 with Ryan McKenzie was also one going in the direction of the Democrats. So I pulled up the 270 to win House map where it has the updated Cook Political Report rankings added to the site. And what it shows is Democrats are now favored to win 213 House seats. Republicans are favored in 205 with still 17 up for grabs. Now, overall, when it's breaking down, Democrats are favored in 189 solidly, 10 likely, and 14 lean. On the Republican side, Republicans are strongly favored in 185, 17 likely, and 3 are lean. So we're going to go through state by state really quickly, look at these close races, where things stand. I also have the Decision Desk HQ site up as well. If you want to look a closer look at any of the House results, we can do that briefly as well. So first we're going to go alphabetically. We're going to start with the state of Alabama. Alabama, all the districts in the state are listed as solid Republican or solid Democrat. No changes here in the state of Alabama. The state of Alaska is listed currently for Nick Begich at likely Republican. This isn't too surprising as we can look at Alaska, the last election where when it was Peltola, Nick Begich, it was 48.52 to 46.48 on the first round of voting. When it then advanced to the runoff, Begich won 51.2 to 48.78. So it was incredibly close with Peltola in the race, but with Peltola not running this time around and Begich as the incumbent, probably going to be an easier time for him in this race. Also worth noting, the current generic ballot on Decision Desk HQ, Democrats currently have 44.2%, Republicans have 40.5%, so right around a 4-point lead for the Democrats as of today in the generic ballot. So that's where things currently stand on Alaska. Now we can go to Arizona, where there are 2 very important House races up in the 1st District with Dave Schweikert and the 6th District with Juan Cisco-Manny. Both of these are listed as toss-ups, and both of these are going to be incredibly close. Arizona 2nd District with Eli Crane could also potentially be competitive as well. As for this race here, we can start. Let's start with the 1st District right outside of Phoenix. We'll start with this one. And this showed the last election in 2024. It voted for Dave Schweikert over the Democrat Amish Shah, 51.9 to 48.1. Only a difference of roughly about less than 20,000 votes, 225,000 to 208,000 for Schweikert over Shah, with Dave Schweikert, the incumbent, not running for re-election and in a more favorable blue Democratic year. This is certainly shaping up to be a very close competitive race. For the 2nd District, the Eli Crane District, this one's still listed as likely Republican, as Crane won it by right around 9 points in 2024. And with him running again, he'll probably hold on and win this race. But at very least, the margins could be smaller than they were in 2024, and that could lead to some competitiveness, possibly falling under 5 points when everything is said and done. That one really wouldn't surprise me all too much if that did ultimately happen. So that's the Eli Crane race. Now we can look at the 6th District, the Juan Cisco-Manny one. This is the first one, a top target of the Democrats. Juan Cisco-Manny won by 50.01% to the Democrat Kirsten Engel's 47.5%. Just roughly around 10,000 votes separating Cisco-Manny and Engel. This is going to be 2 very important races to watch for in Arizona, and we're going to have to wait and see how those all play out. But certainly the toss-up category makes a lot of sense. Next to the state of Arkansas, only 4 House districts, all of which are safe for the Republicans, so no changes there. California, there are a lot of districts in the state, and we're going to go in depth here. We're going to start in the LA area. Some very close districts. There's California 45 with Derek Tran, California 48 with Darrell Issa, which has been redrawn on the map. So now this is going to be lean for the Democrats. The past results were more of a safe result for Darrell Issa. California 45, though, I remember covering this in the days in a few weeks actually after the general election, watching all the votes come in for the California Tran race, and look at how close this was. Derek Tran, Michelle Steele, only a difference of right around like 600 votes. Derek Tran getting 50.1%, Michelle Steele 49.9%. And I remember there was Los Angeles, and there's Orange County. And as the votes came in Orange County, it got more and more smaller lead for Michelle Steele. Derek Tran slowly started picking up more numbers. Derek Tran ultimately ends up winning this race. Now in 2026, a more, I would say, Democratic favorable year. Also worth noting, Michelle Steele, I don't believe, is running again. This one is going to be in the lean Democratic category. California 48, the Darrell Issa one, the map has been redrawn, so it's not going to be the exact same, but we can look at what it was beforehand, and it was a 19-point victory for the Republicans. So on the new map, Darrell Issa certainly in more jeopardy of losing this race, as obviously redrawing the map did. Up near San Francisco, not too much really changes except for the district in the middle of the state, California 13 for Adam Gray. This one was also very close in 2024. This is one of the other ones, along with the Derek Tran one, that was still up for grabs between Adam Gray and Republican John Duarte. And Adam Gray ended up winning here 50.04 to Duarte's 49.96, only a difference of 200 votes. So even though Adam Gray is favored to win this one in this election, I still expect it to be very close. The margin will likely be definitely a lot bigger than in 2024. But California 13 going to be important to watch for as well. So that's California. There's also, actually, before I move on, the 22nd district with David Valadao on the newly redrawn map. That one's going to be very important to watch for as well. We can pull that up as well here and go to 22. And this shows David Valadao last time won by around a likely Republican margin. Obviously, with the redrawn map, it's going to be a lot more close, complete toss-up of a race to watch here. Only difference of right around, again, 10,000 votes in the state of California in District 22. So California, there are a lot of very important toss-ups to watch out for on this map. Now we can go to the state of Colorado, where we do have some developments where Jeff Hurd in the 3rd district and Lauren Boebert in the 4th district are now officially listed as safe Republican. These both were, I believe, likely Republican according to the Kalshi odds, but they're on the polling side of things and the prediction side of things. They're now in safe for the Republicans. Colorado 5 with Jeff Crank is listed as likely, but really for Colorado, the Democrats would love to win the 5th district. I'm not sure if they will, but all eyes are on the 8th district with Gabe Evans, who just won in 2024. This is 100% the main prize for the Democrats in 2024 and where the Republicans are at their most vulnerable of losing. Because Gabe Evans won this race, 48.96%. Democrat Yadira Caraveo got 48.22%, so he didn't break 50%, and he only won by under 3,000 votes, 160,871 to 163,320. So this is going to be a very close race in this election environment where the Democrats are currently favored to win by around 4 points on the generic ballot. If everything remained constant and just a 4-point shift to the Democrats in 2024, this district would obviously very easily shift to the Democrats. Obviously, elections don't always go exactly that way, but if they did, in this scenario, without a doubt, Gabe Evans probably going to lose. So this is going to be a very close race to keep an eye out for, and depending on the margins of this district, if Evans goes down and by how much, this could be a big indicator of how Democrats are doing in this midterm election. If Gabe Evans finds a way to hold on in this race, that could also be an indicator of Republicans maybe overperforming with the polls and the expectations were, and maybe they're having a better overall night. So that's the Colorado 8th district with Gabe Evans. We can take a look at the 5th district as well with Jeff Crank. That one's about a 14-point win in 2024. That one's probably not going to be too competitive. The Lauren Boebert race was right around an 11-point victory. Now it is going to be a bluer election environment, so the margins may be down a little bit, but she won by a solid margin enough in 2024. In the 3rd district, interesting, this one's not listed as really too competitive between Jeff Hurd and Adam Frisch. It was only a margin of right around 5 points and a margin of roughly 20,000 votes. So even though it's listed as safe for the Republicans, I would definitely keep an eye on this one as well. So that is the state of Colorado. I don't believe there's going to be too many competitive ones in the state of Connecticut. The 5th district with Jayana Hayes was competitive in 2022 and a little bit in 2024, but that one all safe Democrats for Connecticut. Delaware at large with Sarah McBride. That one's going to be safe for the Democrats. Florida, there's a few competitive ones here. There are a few likely seats. Anna Paulina Luna is likely red. Corey Mills is likely red in Florida 7. The main competitive one, according to the Cook Political Report, is Florida 23 with Jared Moskowitz's seat. And we can take a look at that one. We can look more closely at the overall county votes here. In 2024, it voted for Moskowitz over Republican Joe Kaufman, 52.45 to 47.55. Now, it is Florida, so it's going to be interesting to see how the state does, especially with the governor's race with Byron Donalds likely being the Republican nominee. If the Democrats outperform there, this district is almost certainly staying blue. I would bet on this district staying blue anyway, but the margins in which Jared Moskowitz does win this race, if he does hold on to it, could again be an indicator of an overall greater election trend of a Democratic wave or of Republican overperformance. As Florida, a lot of their polls close pretty early on election night, so we'll know how Democrats are doing early on in the night. But this was one to watch for as well. We can look at the, while we're over here, we can look at the Anna Paulina Luna race and Corey Mills one. Since it's mentioned, Paulina Luna is the 13th, mainly of St. Pete and Clearwater, and she won it by around 9 points. So I don't think she's going to be in danger of losing, but her numbers may fall down below 5 points if the election is close enough. The Democrats are doing strong enough. The Corey Mills race, it was right around 13 points, and this is the one with the special election that was very close, so that could potentially be one to keep an eye out for as well. The Democrats, again, are having a very strong night. That's the state of Florida. Georgia, their districts are all pretty much safe red or safe blue. Nothing's going to change too much. All the districts in the surrounding Atlanta area, Georgia 6, 5, 4, and 13, all safe for the Democrats. The surrounding state districts, all safe for the Republicans. Hawaii's 2 districts continue to be safe for the Democrats. Idaho's 2 districts are safe for the Republicans. Illinois, a lot of interesting maps being drawn here. A lot of, you could say, gerrymandering maps, but all safe for the Democrats, all safe for the Republicans. No change there. Indiana, the 1st district, Republicans wanted to redraw the map to make it more competitive, but the map stays in place after that effort failed. Indiana's 1st district with Frank Mervan looking like it's going to be remaining in the Democratic hands. In 2024, it was right around a 9-point victory for Frank Mervan, probably going to see similar numbers, if not a larger win for him in this one. So Indiana not currently at risk for the Democrats, likely Democrat according to the rankings. Now, Iowa, things are going to get very close in the state of Iowa. Cook Political Report has the 4th district as safe Republican, the 2nd district for Ashley Hinson at likely Republican, but 2 complete toss-ups in Iowa 1 with Marinette Miller Meeks and Iowa 3 with Zach Nunn. First things I'm going to do is look at the 2nd district to get this one out of the way. Ashley Hinson's not running, so it's going to be an open race. She did win it last time around by around a little under 16 points. Whichever Republican ends up being the candidate here, I think the margins are obviously going to be smaller now that the incumbent is not running, but I think Republicans will still hold on there. Now, for the 1st district of Marinette Miller Meeks, this is the one that I think is the most likely to flip of the 2, the 1st and the 3rd district, because look at the results from 2024. Marinette Miller Meeks won by 800 votes over Christina Bohannon, who I do believe is running again and will be the Democratic nominee once again. 50.1% to 49.9%, only 206,955 votes, 206,156. Again, if the Democrats are winning by overall 4 points on the generic ballot, I think the Republicans, we can actually get a statistical number here. Let's see if we can go by popular vote. I don't know if we can. Here we go. Yeah. Okay. So according to the map, the Republicans won 49.8% percentage of the overall House votes across the country. Democrats won 47.2%. So the Republicans won overall by about 2.6% at the national House level. So the Democrats are winning by 4 points. That alone would be roughly around a 6. I don't want to say it because it's a meme, but a 6 to 7 point swing. So if that alone is happening, that 0.2% victory for Miller Meeks versus Christina Bohannon, instantly gone. This seat could very easily flip to the Democrats if Christina Bohannon can match the voter turnout numbers and percentages that she did in the Democratic areas in 2024. If she can match those, it's going to be very close. If she can exceed them, which based on a 6-point swing to the opposite direction, expect that she probably will, she could certainly go down in this race. Christina Bohannon could win this race. Marinette Miller Meeks, the incumbent, could certainly lose. Now, Zach Nunn's race is also interesting, so it was very close. He won 51.92% of the race of the support. Landon Backham, the Democrat, won 48.08%. So also a very, very close race. President Trump actually convinced Zach Nunn, who wanted to run, I believe it was for governor, to stay in this race and run for re-election because this race was so close. And without Zach Nunn in this race, this might have been listed at a automatic lean for the Democrats anyway. So Zach Nunn being in the race makes this very close for the Republicans, but Democrats, again, winning by a little bit under 4 points in this race, given the possible shift for 2026. So the Democrats are up about 4.5 right now. The Democrats are in a very strong position to potentially flip this district as well and add it to the Democratic column. So Iowa is certainly a very important state to watch out for how the Democrats' chances are doing it, keep flipping the House, or the Republicans at holding it. Kansas, the 3rd district, Sharice Davids is now listed as safe for the Democrats. Kentucky, all the districts, including Andy Barr's 6th district, are listed as safe for the Republicans. Different story on Thomas Massie in the Republican primary. That could be competitive, but at the general election level, not really any competitiveness in Kentucky. Louisiana, the map is also set in stone with the safe Republicans and safe Democrats. Nothing too much to talk about there. Maine is interesting, however, though. The 2nd district, which is currently held by Jared Golden, the Democrat moderate incumbent who is not running for re-election, is now listed as likely Republican. And the main reason, pun intended, for this race being what it is and why it's going to be likely Republican is now Paul LePage, the former governor, is running in this race. It was, in the general election, 48.76 for Jared Golden. Austin Thurl, the Republican, got 48.21%. This is on the first round of voting, so super close, only 0.5% difference. When it went to ranked choice voting, Jared Golden still barely pulled out a victory at 50.35% to Austin Thurl's 49.65%. So a super close race. Now without the Democratic incumbent in the race and the former Republican governor of Maine, Paul LePage, running, who, again, throughout all of the state of Maine, LePage will not win a general election, but in the 2nd district, which voted for Donald Trump by about 9 points, even in the 2026 midterm, which is supposed to be good for the Democrats, Paul LePage likely has a narrow advantage in this race, and the likely Democratic ranking certainly makes a lot of sense. Maryland, the districts, Democratic ones all expected to stay blue. Without any redistricting, the 1st district with Andrew Harris is going to stay red. Massachusetts, also, all the blue districts will remain blue as well. Michigan, there's going to be a handful of very close races here. There's the 4th district, which is listed as likely Republican for Bill Huizenga, but then the main 3 are the 7th with Tom Barrett, the 8th with Kristen McDonald-Rivette, and the 9th with Lisa McClain. These are going to be where things get very close in Michigan, and the Democrats are looking to make a lot of gains, and Republicans are hoping to hold these very close races. So first things first, we'll look at House 4. It was a 12-point victory for Bill Huizenga over Jessica Swartz in 2024, so I don't think Huizenga is going to lose this race. I think he's going to hold on unless there is a massive shift towards the Democratic side, but Tom Barrett is the race that's most likely to flip for 2026. It went for Barrett 50.28% to Curtis Hertel's 46.56%, and it's right around that margin of that 4-point Republican win in 2024, when, again, the map, if it's a 4-point win for the Democrats in 2026, it'd be right around a 6-point shift or so. It would be just enough, just on the math alone, to nearly flip this race to the Democrats. So we'll have to wait and see how the overall election night ends up shaping up, really, because if the Democrats go any lower than that 4-point win, it's going to be literally a difference of like 1,000 to 2,000 votes in this district if Tom Barrett can hold on or if the Democratic candidate can flip it. So the 7th is going to be very, very close. John James, he's not running for re-election. He is running for governor, so this is an open race. He did win this one last time around by right around 6 points or so once you count for the up and down. So John James won this race by about 6 points. Now it's going to be an open race, which again, a 6-point swing to 2024 based on the current generic ballot numbers would put this race right around being a toss-up and a potential flip for the Democrats, for the Republicans. The ranking, again, for the 10th is currently listed as lean Republican, so they are more confident. Cook Political Report that the Republican candidate will hold on and win, but I think it's very close and certainly one to keep an eye out for. Minnesota, everything's pretty locked up. The 2nd district for Angie Craig, that is going to be a new candidate. Angie Craig running for Senate, is likely Democratic, but other than that, not really anything different there. Mississippi, no difference there. 3 safe red districts, 1 safe blue district. Missouri, the biggest change is that the 5th district, Emmanuel Cleaver's district, it's still listed as safe for the Democrats. So I think Cook Political Report may be banking on the new House map being shot down before the 2026 midterm elections. If the map is not shot down, this one probably flips to the Republicans automatically, but they still have it as safe blue, so we'll have to wait and see how that whole process will play out. Montana, the 1st district with Ryan Zink, it was a little bit competitive in 2024, but ultimately they still have it as likely for the Republicans. Nebraska, the 2nd district, they have it as lean Democratic as a flip with Republican Don Bacon not running for re-election. And once Don Bacon announced he was not running, this became like target number 1 for the Democrats in 2026 to flip this seat. Looking like the Democrats are in a good position to do so. Don Bacon only won against the Democrat Tony Vargas in a rematch of 2022's race, 50.93 to 49.07, a 6,000 vote win. So now with Don Bacon retiring and not running for re-election, and it being in a more favorable environment for the Democrats, this race certainly spells like a race the Democrats are going to flip and ultimately win. In the state of Nevada, there are 3 districts in the greater Las Vegas area, in the 4th, the 1st, and the 3rd. The only one listed as lean for the Democrats is Nevada 3. The 2nd district, where Mark Amoti retiring, is still listed as safe for the Republicans. We can actually take a look at Nevada's map and just do a little bit more of a close look here. The 1st district with, I believe it's Dina Titus, she won by roughly about 7 points in 2024, so she's probably not in any danger of losing this part of Clark County. The 3rd district with Susie Lee, this is the one that was competitive last time, was around a 3-point victory for Susie Lee, so it'll probably be close. Again, if it's a more favorable Democratic environment, her numbers may ultimately exceed 5 points, putting it into likely when everything is said and done, but this is going to be an important race to watch for as well, but one I think the Democrats are favored in. The 4th district with Stephen Horsford, he won it by about 8 points. Again, in a more blue environment, I don't think he's really in any danger. The 2nd district, though, Mark Amoti is not running again. He is retiring. It was right around a 20-point victory last time. So for the Republicans to lose this race, there has to be a massive shift in the Democratic direction. I think the margin will certainly be a lot smaller, maybe around like a 10-point victory or less, but I think Republicans are going to hold on and keep this seat red, though. So that's Nevada and New Hampshire. Both the 2nd district and 1st district, even with Chris Pappas retiring, are still listed as likely for the Democrats. New Jersey's got a very important House race up in the 7th district with Tom Keene. This is one of the most marquee matchups, I would say, in the United States House elections for 2026. This is one that's going to be a big indicator how the night is going for the Democrats and for the Republicans. Tom Keene won this race 51.7 in 2024. Susan Altman got 46.37, so right around a 5 to 5.4% difference. So this race is right around the edge of that 6-point trend based on the polling data and the generic ballot right now between 2024 and a possible 2026 election. So this state, or this district in this state, is going to be very important. The governor's race could have been an indicator as well. In 2025, I believe this district on the map did ultimately vote Democratic for Mikey Sherrill against Jack Ciattarelli, so that could be something to watch for as well. I think obviously Thomas Keene will fare better than Jack Ciattarelli did in this district than Ciattarelli did, but I think we're going to see a very close race in this one that I can't wait to see ultimately how it all goes down. The rest of the districts in New Jersey are pretty locked in. The 9th district could be slightly competitive for the Democrats, but I think they hold that one. New Mexico, the only competitive race here is the 2nd district with Gabriel Vasquez, currently listed in Cook's latest update as lean for the Democrats. And it was a 5-point victory or so, or right around a 4-point victory for Vasquez over Yvette Harrell in 2024. Probably going to see it if it's 4 points in 2024. Democrats are going to be right around a likely Democratic margin to hold on and win that district. Now we're going to go to the state of New York, where, like with New Jersey with Tom Keene, another very big race to watch for is going to be New York 17. Now there are also a handful of seats competitive, like Josh Riley in New York 19. We have Tom Susie in New York 3 and Laura Gillen in New York 4, but all eyes are going to be on New York 17 with Mike Lawler. This district was super close in 2024 and 2022. It was a 7-point win in 2024 after it was like less than a 1-point win in 2022. So this is going to be a top target for the Democrats. Again, he's right under, Mike Lawler won by an under 7-point margin, right around specifically like 6.7 or so. So it's right around that swing margin from 2024 to the current polling data. So this one's going to be very close. An important one, again, to keep an eye out for at how Republicans and Democrats are doing. Could be a very big indicator of how things are going for election night 2026. We can also move down here and look at Josh Riley in that district. Let me just close this one real quickly. We can look at this district. Josh Riley, Mark Molinaro was very close in 2024. It flipped to the Democrat by a under lean margin. So again, Democrats are favored here, but this is going to be a very close one to keep an eye out for as well in the state of New York. I think it was it New York 3? That was, or New York 4 with Gillen and New York 3 with Tom Susie. Laura Gillen defeated Anthony D'Esposito by around 3 points. So that's going to be a very tight one to watch. in the Sosi race, he defeated the Republican by around 3 points as well. So a lot of close races to keep an eye out for in New York, but that Mike Lawler one is certainly at the top of the list in terms of races to watch out for. North Carolina, the 11th district likely for the Republicans. North Carolina 1 with Don Davis. The map has been redrawn since 2024. That's going to be the main one to watch for 2026 and how that one overall is shaping up to be. We can look at the Don Davis one from 2024 in the previous map where Davis won by only 2 points on that one. Now the map has been redrawn to favor the Republicans and it's still listed as lean for the Republicans. So that's going to be a very close race and an important one to watch. North Dakota at large will be safe for the Republicans. Ohio, there are 3 close races in the 1st District, 13th, and Ohio 9th. The Republicans wanted to redraw the Ohio congressional map to make it essentially gerrymander out those 3 Democratic seats. That did not ultimately happen. The map that did get redrawn was a lot more favorable for the Democrats than the proposed Republican ones. Now Democrats are favored in the 1st, 13th districts, and 9 is now a toss-up. Again, the map's not going to be the exact same as it was from before, but we can look in the Marcy Kaptur race, which was very close in 2024, only winning by right around 3,000 votes, a margin of less than 1 point. So that's going to be a very close one to keep an eye out for, the Marcy Kaptur one in this redrawn map. The Sykes race in Ohio 13, this district's actually gotten bluer in the redrawn map, so she's not going to really be in any danger of losing that race. Now, Greg Landsman in the 1st district, still going to be competitive, but he won by 9 points before in the old map. Now the new one, lean Democratic, that's going to be important to watch for as well. So that is the state of Ohio. Now we can take a look really quickly at Oklahoma, because I know the video's been going on for a while, so we'll try and wrap these up a little quickly. Oklahoma, safe Republican in all of its districts. Oregon, all but safe except for Janelle Bynum and Oregon 5. That one will probably go Democratic anyway, though. Pennsylvania is really the main battleground of 3 very close House districts. Both Pennsylvania 8, Pennsylvania 7 now in the toss-up category, along with Scott Perry in Pennsylvania 10. Brian Fitzpatrick is likely Republican in Pennsylvania 1, seems to be holding on, but these districts, 8, 7, and 10, are going to decide ultimately if the Democrats flip the House or if the Republicans hold on. Because look at the margins of these races in 2024. Ryan McKenzie won against Susan Wild by only 1 point, 50.5, 49.5, but he flipped the seat from blue to red. This is definitely a top target of the Democrats in 2024. Rob Bresnahan, very similar. Won against Democrat Matthew Cartwright, 50.81 to Cartwright's 49.19. Certainly a top target of the Democrats. Scott Perry, a race that seems to get bluer and bluer every election cycle, only defeated Democrat Janelle Stelson 50.63 to 49.37. This is certainly, all 3 of these are top targets for the Democrats in 2026. All 3 are listed as a toss-up by Cook Politico. Rhode Island seats remain both safe for the Democrats. South Carolina, the seats are safe red and safe blue. South Dakota, safe red. Tennessee, these races except for the 5th are all safe red. Andy Ogle's seat is ultimately likely red. The Matt Van Epps race from last time doesn't seem to be too competitive. Texas, there's a lot going on. The main competitive one, according to Cook Politico report, though, is going to be Texas 28, which is lean for Henry Cuellar, and Texas 34, which is toss-up for Vicente Gonzalez. Monica De La Cruz, which is competitive on the Kalshi odds, is listed as likely Republican in this race. This map has been heavily redrawn, obviously, so it doesn't reflect the 2024 map, but Texas 28 and 34 are going to be the close ones to watch for on this map. Utah's 1st district has been redrawn to being a safe Democratic seat now, so that's going to be safe for the Democrats. Vermont at large will be safe. Virginia, they still have the Cook Political report has the same map as Missouri and Virginia, so this new Virginia map has not been brought through yet. So they still have Virginia 7 as Eugene Vindman as a narrow Democratic win. Rob Whitman is a lean Republican win and a toss-up for Jen Kiggins in Virginia. If the map gets redrawn, though, then this could be a very, very lopsided Democratic win with only the 9th district and maybe the 6th, but I think it was the 9th district being the only guaranteed Republican win. So it'll be interesting to see if the map in Virginia goes through and what happens on these rankings going forward. But on the current map, Whitman and Vindman are in for very tough fights. Jen Kiggins is certainly in for a very tough fight in Virginia. Washington at large, all the seats remain the same except for Marie Glusenkamp Perez's 3rd district is listed as a toss-up. Actually, we're going to go back. We have a little more time. We're going to look at the Virginia map really quick, then we'll go to Washington as well, I promise. The Kagan's map on its current construction was only about a 4-point victory in 2024, so that one is going to be very close, including the Virginia Beach area, which is always a toss-up, always a good indicator of how the race is overall going. That's Jennifer Kagan's. Now we can look at Rob Whitman as well. It was around a 13-point victory, but this one's going to be more competitive in 2026. The map is shaping up to be there. In the Vindman 7th House District, it was right around a 3-point victory for Vindman versus Derek Anderson, now listed similar margins on the current rankings. Washington, we can look at the Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez race, where it was very close in 2024 as well in the rematch against Joe Kent. 51.95 to 48.05 win for Gluesenkamp-Perez. She wins by roughly about 16,000 votes. Going to be an important one to watch out for as well for 2024. So toss-up, we'll have to wait and see on that one. West Virginia remains the same. Wyoming remains the same. And now it comes down to Wisconsin, where the closest race that's up is the Wisconsin 3rd with Derek Van Orden. And this one is also, like the Pennsylvania races, a very big indicator of how the night is going. Derek Van Orden won this race against Rebecca Cook, 51.36 to 48.64. If the Democrats are winning this seat, this will be a very big flip for them. Again, the Republicans only have a 3-seat majority in the U.S. House going into the midterms, so this seat is going to be very important as well. So certainly that was a lot of races, a lot of updates on the Cook Politico Report map. But now the Democrats on their most recent map are favored at 213 seats. Republicans are favored at 205. The only notes I will add is a possible Republican flip in Missouri 5 would get the Republicans to 206, Democrats 212. And the Virginia map, which has not gone through in the Cook Political Report rankings, this could get the Democrats, literally the House majority, up to 217, 218 if the seats with John McGuire 5 go blue, Virginia 6 go blue, Virginia 2 go blue, and Virginia 1 go blue. That alone might get the Democrats up to that 217, 218 number alone. So the Virginia map and the Missouri map are going to have to be watched for in the most recent updates from Cook Politico. But in the most recent update, as of today, the Democrats are getting very close and inching towards flipping the House when everything is said and done. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you did. Leave a comment below, tell me your thoughts, and I hope to see you in a future video.